Well, on the Gold Coast right now is a cyclist who's ridden 80,000 kilometres across the world in 8 years. Quite the mission. Her dream is to complete the final part of her trip by riding from North Korea to her home in South Korea. But COVID, of course, means that Jin Jong is still in Australia, staying in fact at Zoe Milsom's house at Palm Beach. I caught up with them both earlier and asked Zoe how she found out about Jim and her travels.
I can't remember exactly when I discovered gin online, maybe a few years ago now, and I just thought, what an amazing, brave, adventurous, independent woman. And for me, as like you said, as a mum of two young girls, I just thought, what a wonderful role model. So I sort of, dipped in and out of her journey along the way, and then I saw she was in Australia and she was heading up to the Gold Coast. So I thought, well, here's my chance. I'll just have a go. And I reached out via social media and just said to Jen, look, would you like to come share a meal with my family? We'd really love to meet you. And lucky for us, she said, sure. So we met up and it was just a really lovely meeting. And I thought, we can't just leave it at, one meal together. So I said, well, why don't you come and stay with us for a few weeks? We've been very fortunate to have Jen staying in our home and sharing her stories and giving my girls the opportunity to ask, questions from their perspective. And Jim's been sharing with my 9-year-old just on the weekend the journey that she's been going around the world on the map. And then they got out Jim's tent on the weekend, so the girls got to see what it's like inside her tent. Yeah, it's just been a really special time for us, I think.
And such an inspirational story, given what's happening and that we can't actually travel very far at the moment. Jin, what did you think when you got this approach from Zoe?
I really thankful to her because we are having, uncertain time and crisis. So this is, people are very careful, but this family welcomed me with open mind. So I really appreciate, and I really enjoyed my time and learn from that because everybody has different thing, and I learn every time from people whenever I met them. So yeah, it's just wonderful.
You're an absolute powerhouse, riding over 80,000 kilometres across the world in 8 years. How did this all start?
So I went to Canada with my work holiday visa, and actually I hitchhiked from the west to the east to the west for almost 3 months. And then I went up north to live and work, and I was watching Northern Light. And then I thumbs up because I used to. And then suddenly I got scared, like, oh, maybe there'll be no oxygen if I go to another galaxy or another planet. So I decided, okay, let's travel my Earth planet first. And car is too fast, and walking is slow. So let's travel the world by my bicycle. Yeah, I mean bicycle, yeah.
And how have things changed for you now with coronavirus?
Because at the moment I cannot travel other countries. So my plan was going to Fiji, in Taiwan, and then China, and trying to cross to North Korea to get back home. But then I couldn't do anything, so I just extended my visa and cycling from Sydney to up north here, Gold Coast. And I was very afraid to start cycling again on June when the when New South Wales government said that, oh, you can travel again now. But I was afraid to face discrimination. But then surprisingly, every was so welcoming me, and they don't mind to invite me. And so it was actually still so good to meet people and talk, and it was amazing still.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that you had fears of discrimination, but I'm pleased that didn't eventuate. Zoe, how do you feel about that?
For me, I have a lot of experience with teaching international students. And I think it's a common misconception, really, that there is discrimination towards people from Asian backgrounds, in Australia, not just the Gold Coast. And so for me, I think this kind of opportunity, being able to meet someone and share our home and our way of life, that's the personal connection, is where those barriers are broken down. So I think, it's wonderful that even though Jin felt that maybe this was of concern to her, but she wasn't going to let it stop her, she thought, I'll have a go anyway, and then realised that, great, those fears weren't realised. And I think it's a really important story that I like to share with my girls too, that they've only had very limited travel overseas. We were lucky enough last year to take them to China, and to have that experience of meeting people face to face, meeting, their peers, children their age, and realise that, yes, there are a lot of things that might make us different culturally, but there's also so many things that we have in common. So I just feel so grateful that I've been able to give that opportunity to my girls to be able to have Jen come and share, her experiences of travel all around the world with us, but also share her Korean culture with us as well.
Oh, inspirational to us all, no doubt about that. Zoe, you having Jen stay at your place, where do you begin to give her the Gold Coast experience?
Well, I think the first place that we started, and it was actually on Jen's instigation, she said, well, if I'm on the Gold Coast, I want to learn how to surf.
Go,
So
Jen.
that's where we started. And I have to say that I went and had a lesson with Jen. I did the first lesson with her, which was a really fun day. We had a lovely time down at Currumbin Alley. But Jen, being the powerhouse that she is, she's determined to keep on going. So my hubby's got a bicycle that has the board rack on it, and we've borrowed the right size now from my dad. So Jen's just been borrowing my husband's bike and popping the board on his bike and just taking herself down to the alley most days to keep on practicing. So she's definitely surpassed me in her surf skills already.
Jen, you like it? You taken to surfing?
Yeah, I love it so much, and I'm so proud that I'm standing up on the board, and I enjoy it so much. And yeah, this is really great thing on the trip that I keep learning something, and yeah, it's so much fun.
We're not going to see you in future travels with a Malibu on the side of the bike, are we?
I love to, but it's too big to carry, so yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So where to from here, given the restrictions? You're a bit limited, aren't you?
So yeah, anyway, I have traveled 6 continents over 8 years, 80,000 kilometers. So anyway, I was about to finish my trip this year, but then plan is a bit changes, so I cannot travel any other country at the moment. So my plan is going back home. Still same, but a bit different way. That from here, Australia, I would like to go maybe China or Russia, and cross North Korea border and then South Korea border. So this is impossible because we are divided since during Cold War. But so I'm trying to contact like all different people and media, and I sent a letter to the Ministry of Unification in South Korea. So far, I didn't hear any news, but I'm still trying. So my plan is anyway going back home through North Korea. Yeah, I'm just working on it.
Oh, well, let's hope it works out for you. Can you share with me one of the most memorable times of your trip so far?
I have so many good memories that like I like nature and food, but most memorable thing is meeting people. That at the moment I'm staying with Zoe's and Jeremy's house with the 2 girls, and yeah, I think the most memorable thing at this moment is staying with this family.
Oh.
I think the past and the future is not here. Present is here, and the most important, most memorable thing is here. So most memorable thing at this trip is staying with the Zoe's and Jeremy's family with the 2 girls. Yeah.
Oh, that is so nice. That must make you feel pretty special, Zoe.
It does. Actually, I'm a little bit speechless, Cathy.
Aw.
That's lovely. Thank you.
I can only imagine the impact this is having on your girls.
Oh, absolutely. I feel so blessed and grateful that our paths have crossed. I was very fortunate growing up to be in a family where we often hosted exchange students from many different parts around the world. And I just remember, I think for me, that's where my spark was ignited, I guess, for my interest in other cultures and travel, which led to my travel in my 20s and 30s. So I just feel so lucky to be able to share a similar experience with my girls, and I can see how enriching it is for them already. So I'm sure, once the borders do reopen and travel begins in the world again, I'll be one of those nervous parents waving goodbye to my girls as they leave after year 12 to explore the world for themselves. But I mean, I wouldn't change it for anything because it's had such an enormous impact on me and the decisions I've made in my life. So I just feel really grateful that we've been able to, give this to our girls as well. It's a pretty special thing, really.
It is, and I'm so grateful to the two of you. And Jen, I think your inspiration with people hearing this today is going to multiply big time. And you too, Zoe. I think your story is inspirational and hopefully makes a few more of us open our hearts and minds to getting people from other parts of the world to have a dose of the Gold Coast.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, I feel quite sad at the moment looking at the media. My work is generally working with international students, and the media reports I'm reading at the moment about the plight of the international students that we have in Australia currently as a result of the pandemic really makes me sad, I guess, that we can't be as more supportive. So, yeah, it would be lovely if, this makes people open their hearts more to think about, well, yeah, maybe there is someone I see at the local shops and maybe I should just reach out to them and, check that they're okay and maybe they'd like to come and share a meal with my family or something like that, for sure.
Lovely. It's been such a joy to catch up with you both. Thank you so much. All the best with your future travels, Jen, and Zoe. I hope you get some travels in there eventually as well.
Thank you so much, Cathy. Thanks for speaking with us today.
Two very special ladies. Isn't it a lovely story? Hope you enjoyed it.